Hello and welcome to Press TV's debate. I'm Marzieh Hashimi. Thanks so much for being with us. On the road to be king is perhaps how Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman sees his latest moves in arresting close family members. Prince Ahmed bin Abdulaziz, a young brother of King Salman, and Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, the nephew of the king, have been arrested for allegedly planning a coup. Is MBS clearing the way to take over the kingdom, as both these relatives are his biggest competitors for the throne? And is this a sign that King Salman is either dead or near death? Stay with us as we take a look at all this in this debate.
Mohammed bin Salman, the de facto ruler of the Saudi kingdom, is stamping out traces of internal dissent before a formal transfer of power to him from his 84-year-old father, King Salman. He has already tried to consolidate his rule by jailing prominent clerics and activists as well as business elites. Amid growing resentment of his leadership, Salman has also ordered the detention of several members of the royal family. In the latest move, 3 princes have been detained. 2 of the detainees, namely King Salman's brother Prince Ahmed bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and the monarch's nephew Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, stand accused of plotting a coup to unseat the king and the crown prince. They could face lifetime imprisonment or execution. Prince Nayef's younger brother Prince Nawaf bin Nayef was also detained. Moreover, Prince Salman faces a torrent of international condemnation over the murder of Saudi dissident Jamal Khashoggi inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October 2018. Crown Prince Salman and his father King Salman deny having any role in the murder of Khashoggi, who was a critic of the Saudi monarchy. Experts say Prince Salman is not taken to task by the international community for his actions, including his alleged involvement in Khashoggi's murder.
MBS, who is still not officially the king, seems to feel no qualms about doing whatever he and his advisors consider necessary to secure his succession. After the fallout from the Khashoggi butchering, it was made quite clear to MBS that whatever he chooses to do as the absolute ruler of the kingdom, the rest of the world will not hold him to account.
The Saudi royal family's human rights violations are not limited within the boundaries of the kingdom. Riyadh is also breaching human rights and committing crimes beyond its borders, a potent example of which is the war on Yemen. Tens of thousands of people have been killed since the Saudi military campaign on Yemen began in March 2015. All this comes amid growing discontent with his leadership, both from the general public and from within the royal family. Only time will tell how events will unfold. But for now, there seems no end in sight to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's campaign of cracking down on dissent and suppressing voices of opposition to secure his rule.
I'd like to welcome my guest to the program, author and former U.S. diplomat Michael Springmann out of Washington, D.C., and the director of IGA, Ali Ahmed, also out of D.C. Thank you both for being with us. Let me start this off with Michael. Now, what do you make of MBS's arrest of Prince Ahmed and Prince Mohammed bin Nayef at this time?
Well, I think it's a good statement that he's made. And I think it will destabilize his control over the kingdom and destabilize the kingdom's government. I had read that Prince Khalid bin Farhan, who's gotten political asylum in Germany, has said that Prince Ahmed, who's been jailed by bin Salman, and Prince Mukrin, who had been the head of the Saudi presidency for the intelligence, the Mukhabarat, put those two together and you would have 99% of the country behind them. So I think that instead of securing his access to the throne and securing his control of the country, bin Salman has gone out of his way, I think, to ensure that he will have a lot of opposition down the road. He will face repeated assassination attempts, figuring that if no one can get at him politically, they'll get at him with weapons. And,
well, I mean, Michael, wouldn't he know this, and that he's creating even more opposition and powerful opposition?
Well, it's the arrogance of power, as former Senator J. William Fulbright mentioned about the American attitude towards the Vietnam War. He's secure in his position, he thinks, and he believes that as the son of the king, he will be able to do anything he wants once the king dies, and he is trying to limit any kind of opposition at the present, and I don't think that's going to carry.
Okay. Well, Ali, now compare the arrest now of the princes by Mohammed bin Salman to 2017 when he stripped them of a lot of money after detaining them in a hotel. How significant is this latest move? And compare the two moves.
Well, this is very significant. It means that the steps that he took in terms of placing members of the ruling family on house arrest or monitoring them and putting, forcing to wear bracelets and to be monitored, did not work to stop any attempt to displace him. Our information, I want to reiterate to your viewer that on my Twitter account yesterday, I posted the information before any of those media published the information about the arrest. We have had this news in terms of there was an attempt to have a coup d'etat against Mohammed bin Salman, and that became clear in September when the personal bodyguard of King Salman was arrested, tortured, and killed. And then, of course, the Saudi government made this story up about him being murdered. When we looked into the story, it turned out there was no, classical murder, and then that kind of created the suspicion he was arrested, and the government position and statement made it clear it was done to extract information or to stop him from doing something. And when they followed this piece of information, it led to Mohammed bin Nayef. Separately, we know that Mohammed bin Nayef had stashed about $1.2 billion between Switzerland and Canada, and one of his aides, at least one, used that money to get Americans from the Obama administration, ex-CIA, to try to get Mohammed bin Nayef back in power. We've seen here in the United States how John Brennan, who was a close advocate of Mohammed bin Nayef, he is in fact responsible for pushing Mohammed bin Nayef to become crown prince, was saying this on TV last year that we should have Mohammed bin Nayef in power instead of Mohammed bin Salman. So this is not out of thin air. It's not only about competition, it is about a real plot to overthrow Mohammed bin Salman and even kill him. And that's why he had to take this position. And I believe without him taking this all the way, he will have that challenge of to his authority, and he will not be taken seriously from other cousins who could try to do the same.
Okay, well, Michael, according to what Ali is saying, that the Crown Prince probably felt that he had to make this move. But I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier. How much of it now is the situation more unstable for him? Because obviously, a lot of these princes have a lot of foreign support and a lot of money at their disposal. So do you think that his situation is more stable or less stable now prior to their arrests?
Well, I think far less stable. I think bin Nayef apparently made a mistake with his plans to change the situation. I mean, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. But I think given the number of real princes and the several thousand chicken princes, as one of my staff in Jeddah once said, are going to look long and hard at this and see that Mohammed bin Salman is a danger to themselves and to the stability of the kingdom. And they're either going to hire assassins, hire mercenaries, work to unseat him and overthrow him in whatever fashion is seems best to them. There was a talk last year of Mohammed bin Salman being the subject of a assassination attempt. He was out of public for quite some time. So I think that that's only the tip of the iceberg, and I think that there's going to be enough opposition in the country, if nothing else, from him letting women drive and having men and women attend movie theaters together. It's going to upset the old reactionary people in the kingdom, and they're going to support anybody who will get rid of him.
Well, you know, he used to, at least he tried to, back in 2017 when he had arrested so many of his royal relatives, he was trying to have an image of a reformist. We have seen since then just so many things. Of course, he was already involved in the war. He started the war in Yemen. Also, the brutal killing, of course, of Jamal Khashoggi, which many believe that he ordered. And of course, the crackdown in the eastern province, we've seen so many different situations that he has been responsible for. How does all this figure in everything and the likelihood that his situation really is not stable at all?
Well, I think it adds to it. This business of Yemen, for example, he's been in Yemen for years, impoverished the country, killed lots of people, let disease run rampant like cholera. Half the country is in need of food, and his wars or pseudo-wars with Qatar and with Iran, I think have created an image of someone who is not stable, who's not a strong leader, and who does not have the good of the kingdom at his heart. So I think that these added to his brutal treatment of his fellow princes is going to guarantee additional opposition to him.
Okay. Well, Ali, overall, the situation in Saudi Arabia, I mean, how big of a crisis is this for the royal family in general?
If this question is for me, I think
yes.
It's going to cement Mohammed bin Salman's power. It will anger many in the ruling family, no doubt, but without them having any assets to do anything, they will not do very much. They will complain, they will be angry, but as long as Trump is in power, like you said earlier, that Saudi monarchs and leading princes have always survived an external power. You have the United States, Trump administration, supporting Mohammed bin Salman in everything he does. And you have the English-dominated UK government that is doing the same. So there is no domestic power to challenge Mohammed bin Salman, even within his ruling family. So because he controls everything, he controls the security, the army, the armed forces, all of it is in his hand. So before we had people with different positions of power, there were centers of power. Right now, there is a center of power, which is Mohammed bin Salman. Mohammed bin Nayef was hoping to get the American support to do this. When I say American support, I'm not talking about the Trump administration, but ex-CIA and ex-State Department officials who loved Mohammed bin Nayef and wrote basically poetry in his love. And this thing was exposed, and it's going to end very badly for Mohammed bin Nayef. Because the only way Mohammed bin Salman can ensure this thing does not go anywhere is to end the life of Mohammed bin Nayef. And this is going to happen, because if it doesn't happen, it means Mohammed bin Salman will lose his credibility within his own power base, and even with his cousins. Because if Mohammed bin Nayef gets away with it, then other members of the ruling family will do the same and will try the same. So and it will encourage others to attack him. So this is going to be a hard choice, but I know from following this guy from 2015 that he will do this. He does not have these calculations. If I do this, what will happen? You see what he's doing in Yemen, and the bombing of Awamiya, the largest domestic military action in the Saudi history. He did not care what happens next, and sometimes he figured it right. So he has not suffered any repercussion for Yemen or for other crimes that he did, including Khashoggi.
So Ali, what you're saying is that basically that he is going to kill Mohammed bin Nayef, or you're saying that he's going to order his execution. You think that's the only way out for him?
They're going to have a trial, supposed trial, and then that will take care of it.
Okay. All right. Well, Michael, you seem to somewhat disagree with Ali. I mean, Ali feels, it appears that MBS now has solidified his power, and you feel that actually the opposition is going to grow against him, that can set him up for a very unstable situation. Do you want to expand on your perspective and the reason why you think that his situation is a lot more unstable today than it was before he made this latest move?
Sure. In the short history of Saudi Arabia, united by King Abdulaziz way back in the 20s, you had power shifts from kings to princes and back to kings and so forth. But it was all done collegially. It was done with agreement. It was done in consultation with the various members of the ruling family and its many divisions. But Mohammed bin Salman has broken with this. He has grabbed power, seized power, and as the gentleman Ali has said, he's going to kill Prince Nayef. So I think that this is very, very un-Saudi, and it is totally out of the tradition of the Saudis. And you have not had any weigh-in from the religious side. The Wahhabi clerics, are they going to stand for this? They may well find themselves in hot water if they do something or say something that Mohammed bin Salman will not like. So I think that he has increased the opposition to him, and it's going to go underground, and it's going to come up at the worst possible times for him. I mean, the guy can't hide in his palaces forever, and certainly in his palaces, you've got a lot of people there combing the rugs and cleaning and doing everything else. How long does it take to stick a knife in him? This happened to one of the kings in the past. So I think that Mohammed bin Salman has not looked far enough ahead to see what will happen, to see who will do him in, and to see where the antagonism is going to come from. You've got the Eastern Province, which has always been restive, and has been more so since his attacks on the various clerics and the various Shiite rebel groups there. You've got the Yemenis, who are very good at sending drones and missiles into the kingdom and hitting the facilities at Opcake. They can go a little bit farther if they get some help from the Saudi opposition, some of the rich princes with lots of money. They can help the Yemenis take down Mohammed bin Salman or create situations so outrageous that people are going to say, we don't need this guy. He's a trouble to the kingdom. He's a danger to the kingdom. And let's get rid of him.
How do you see it, Ali? Is he not too much of a liability yet for the royal family? If we look at from the international perspective, you said he really hasn't paid any price for, of course, what he's doing in Yemen. And even the situation in Khashoggi, do you think that the liability is too high or not yet?
I don't see it so far. Trump is in power, and Mohammed bin Salman did get some flack, but really no real impact on him personally. Speaking of history, we know that King Abdulaziz was basically like Mohammed bin Salman. He held power by himself. He didn't share power even with his own brothers. So that is a model that could be used here by Mohammed bin Salman. When there was centers of powers, yes, they had to account for each other. Right now, they're out of power. An average member of the ruling family, and even if they had money, they does not mean anything, because the power, the real power, the power of the economy, the power of the military and security, and the power of the throne is in one hand, is Mohammed bin Salman. And that's why I think one of the effects of these arrests will be arresting a large number of members of the ruling family, finishing off Mohammed bin Nayef's threat, and also maybe doing something in terms of Yemen, getting out of Yemen, and doing other steps domestically to solidify his base. He does not need anybody outside his own house. He does not. He has his brother, and he doesn't need anybody else. He doesn't need the rest of the ruling family to run the country, because he has regional support. UAE has been supportive. They have even foreign mercenaries to protect him from black water and others. So he really has, and he's young, and he has been pushing his ideas and his ways without care to so-called the Wahhabi establishment, because the Wahhabi establishment has in the Western mind that they do have some kind of a power. They don't. They are a tool of the Saudi state, and they have been always like that, and they don't have independent power. Whatever the king and the rulers says, they follow it with blind. The king. One of the most important things that happened in the past few years is when Mohammed bin Salman took out and arrested the largest street, like we call it, Salafi Wahhabi clerics, without any opposition. There was no protest, nothing. Salman al-Auda and Safar al-Hawali, the top, most popular Wahhabi or non-governmental clerics, he took them out without any problem. So, and he may end up executing them too. We don't know. But the idea is, right now, things are in the hand of one man. That's Mohammed bin Salman, with support of UAE and the United States and the London rulers. So it will not change very much, because the thing is, there is no alternative or challenging power to Mohammed bin Salman.
Okay, and on that note, unfortunately, we are out of time. I appreciate both of you being with us. Author and former U.S. diplomat Michael Springmann out of Washington, D.C., and also out of Washington, D.C., Ali Ahmed, Director, IGA. And as always, viewers, we appreciate you being with us on another debate. I'm Marzia Hashemi, signing off for myself and all the crew right here in Tehran. Hope to see you next time.